Hey there, everybody. Welcome back. Today is Tuesday, December 8th. This is Mrs. Piper coming to you with a lesson on writing repeating decimals and fractions. Before we get started, if you open up your Google Classroom account, you will find a Google Doc there where you can put your answers to today's lesson and submit that to me. When you do that, I'll be able to look at it and see how this lesson went, whether or not you understand it or if it completely goes by the wayside here. So keep that Google Doc handy, turn that into me, and we'll see how this goes. All right. All right. So here is our daily warm up. And I'm going to have you pause the video for just a second when you do this. This is one of those things you're going to put on your Google Doc assignment that it can be found in your classroom stream. Now, I want you to think about the powers of 10. 10 squared, 10 to the third power, 10 to the fourth power. Think about that, okay, as you're doing this. I want you to multiply these numbers. We have 1.23 times 10, 1.23 times 100, and 1.23 times 1,000. What do you notice about these answers? So go ahead, solve these, pause the video, put your answers in that Google Doc, and when you're done, come on back. All right, welcome back, everybody. Today's goal, we're going to use long division, kind of. May review that a little bit, but we're going to really today focus on changing repeating decimals to fractions and looking at long division if we have time at the end, okay? So we've got our warm-up hopefully under control, the goals, few announcements, and then our lesson and exit ticket. You're going to be putting that exit ticket answer on that Google Doc as well. No new announcements really. Same thing over the last few days. The difference being we only have 9 school days left before winter break, counting today, and 19 school days left in the grading period. Please, please, please remember that your late work for the second grading period is due by January 13th, and that iReady Middle of the Year test is going to be January 11th through the 15th, the last week of the grading period. If you are submitting things for a Town Hall Google Classroom, that deadline is December 11th. Please make sure that you are meeting your deadlines. Okay, just a review there of vocabulary. Again, like we said yesterday, if you are having trouble with any of these, please let me know. So today we're going to write repeating decimals as fractions. I've got a couple slides here to help you along, but we're going to also look at the information from your textbook. Pages 175 and 176 will also help guide us through this lesson. So, I want you to look at these things. We have an n, inverse of x, the negative quantity 5 minus 2, and w squared. What do they all have in common? They all have an unwritten 1 in front of each term. So there's a 1 in front of here. There's a negative 1 in front of this, a negative 1 in front of that, and a 1 in front of this one. As mathematicians, that unwritten 1, we just understand that to be there. Okay, we don't have to write it, but it's understood that there is a 1 in front of those items. So, when we talk about repeating decimals, writing them as fractions, a little bit more involved than a regular decimal that does not repeat, a terminating decimal. So let's start with a fraction that we know, okay? 1/3. We know that 1/3 is a decimal that is written as a repeating 3. We could also write it like this with bar notation, okay? We could also write it that way. But we know this. This is a given to us. So how do we end up writing repeating decimals as fractions? We're going to use some algebra here, okay? And the goal to this is to always eliminate the repeating numbers. So our goal when we do problems like this is to eliminate the repeating numbers, okay? We don't want to subtract forever. There's a trick that we can use so we don't have to, okay? What we're going to do is we're going to take our repeating decimal and we're going to set it equal to n, okay? We choose n. I don't know why we choose n, but every resource I've seen chooses n. I guess that stands for the number, okay? The number is equal to this repeated 3. Now, we want to get rid of these because we don't want them to go on forever, but we can't just throw them out. We can't just truncate them like we do the zeros at the end. We have to do something else, okay? So what happens, we're going to set this up as an algebra problem. And when we do this, we're going to end up subtracting and we're going to cancel out all of those repeated 3's. All of those repeated 3's are actually going to turn to repeated zeros and we can drop the zeros. All right, so to do this, I want you to think back to those powers of 10. 100, 1,000, 10,000. Because we're going to end up multiplying both sides of our equal sign by the same number, one of those powers of 10. And we're going to do that until we find the decimal point and the numbers that repeat that they line up. Let me show you. So remember, there's always this unwritten 1 out there, okay? It's 1n is equal to this repeating 3. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually multiply both sides of this equal sign by 10. Now, why do I pick 10? Well, I have one digit that repeats. It's a 3. 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, forever a 3. One digit repeats, 1 0 in what I'm multiplying by. Okay, so I'm going to multiply everything by 10. 1 times 10 is 10. And if I multiply this number times 10, what I'm actually doing is moving the decimal point one spot to the right. That's how I get this 3.3333 forever. Okay, again, why did I pick 10? I've got one digit repeating and 1 0. Okay, sometimes it's just that simple. Now, what happens is I have my original statement, n is equal to this repeating 3. I multiplied it by 10, so now I have 10n is equal to 3 point repeated 3. And I'm going to rewrite them as a subtraction problem. And I'm going to put the bigger coefficient on top because I don't want negative numbers, okay? We want to try to stay away from those negative signs. So we're going to subtract. And we're going to subtract algebraically. So guess what? 3 minus 3 is 0. So they end up canceling each other out. 3 minus 3 is 0. Okay, they cancel each other out. 3 minus 3 is 0. They cancel each other out. And all these 3's that are up here and all these 3's that are down here, they're going to cancel each other out. So we end up with a repeated zeros, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0 forever. 3 minus 0 is 3, and 10, remember, there's a 1 there. 10 minus 1 is 9. Now, we canceled out the 3's when we subtracted. We are now left with 9n equals 3. And to undo multiplication, because this is 9 times n, we're going to divide everything. We're going to divide everything by the coefficient. We're going to divide both sides by 9. Okay, that 9 and that 9 cancel out because 9 over 9 is equal to 1. 3/9? Well, we can simplify 3/9 to 1/3. So what ends up happening, that's how we get this repeating 3's are equal to 1/3. Okay? Now, let's look at a couple book examples. All right, so find your book. Find your book. I want you to turn to page 175. 175. Okay, let me write it up here so you can see it. Page 175. And they're giving us an example of this repeated 4, okay, 4/10, bar notation over the 4. So one digit is repeating. How do I know? There's one digit under the bar notation. So what I'm going to end up doing, one digit, 1 0. I'm going to multiply by 10. 10 has 1 0. So 10 times 1 is 10. If I multiply this times 10, I'm going to move the decimal point one spot to the right. I end up with 4.444 forever. I'm going to subtract the original statement. So I've got this 10n equals 4.44444 minus n equals 0.44444. See how we want to make sure that whatever is lined up after the decimal point, they're the same. Because what's going to happen? 4 minus 4 is 0. 4 minus 4 is 0. 4 minus 4 is 0. And that's going to cancel all of those 4's out there. 4 minus 0 is 4. 10 minus 1 is 9. You are going to probably start seeing a pattern here. When we have one digit repeating, there is a pattern, and some of you have caught on to it already. We're going to divide both sides by 9. So 9 divided by 9 is 1. Remember, we don't have to write it. We have 4 ninths. So the decimal point 44444 is equivalent to 4 ninths. So take a look here a second. For those of you who haven't seen this pattern, I've got repeating 3's, 3 ninths. I've got repeating 4's, 4 ninths. Okay? That's going to work for a lot of cases, but not every case. So hang with me. All right? Let's look at example 3. We've got a repeating 5 this time. One digit repeats. I'm going to multiply by 10. 10 has 1 0. So I end up with 10n is equal to 5.555 because when I multiply this number here by 10, it moves the decimal point one spot to the right. 10n is equal to 5.555 forever minus our n equals 0.555 forever. I've got 5 minus 5 is 0. 5 minus 5 is 0. Look at this. This is going to cancel out. And they're going to cancel out every 5 after that decimal point. 5 minus 0 is 5. 10 minus 1 is 9. We're going to divide everything by 9. So we end up with 5 ninths. So our decimal, with the 0.5 repeated, the bar notation over the 5, we can write that as the fraction 5 ninths. And that fits our pattern as well. Okay? But you know things have to change, right? So we have a mixed number, 2.18, and that 1/8 underneath the bar notation. So look what happens. We're going to set our n, okay? We're going to let n be our original number. N is equal to 2.181818, and so on. Two numbers are repeating. I'm going to multiply by 100. Two numbers repeat, 2 zeros. So 100 times 1 gives me 100. 100 times 2.181818, I move the decimal point 2 spots to the right. 2 zeros, 2 spots, and I get 218.181818. Think about this. If we only did 10, we would have 21.818181. That doesn't match up with 181818. We have to make sure that the numbers after the decimal point line up perfectly. Okay? So all of these 181818 minus 181818, they're all zeros. 218 minus 2 gives me 216. 100 minus 1 is 99. I'm going to divide everything by 99. Okay, we divide by the coefficient, so 99 there. We have 216 divided by 99. And if I go to simplify this, I have 216 over 99. I get 2 and 2/11. 2 and 2/11. So this decimal, this repeating decimal right here, 2.18, with their bar notation over the 1 and the 8, can be written as the fraction 2 and 2/11. Okay? All right, let's bring back this paper here. Whoops. So with your Google document, okay, with the Google Doc that I'm asking you to do, you're going to have your daily warm-up at the top, your explanation, what do you notice? I also want you to include these 2 check problems. So at the bottom of page 175, you're going to answer that question for me on the Google Doc. You're going to change a negative 7 tenths repeated, okay? Don't let the negative sign fool you. Just do it the normal way and stick a negative sign at the end, okay? And you're going to do this check for me right here on page 176. So you're going to have those 2 items on the Google Doc as well. And finally, you're going to do this exit ticket for me also. So on your Google Doc, you're going to have your warm-up, the 2 check problems, and this exit ticket. Okay? Try it. I want to see what you can do with it. I didn't give you an example like this exactly, but I want you to try it and see what you come up with. We'll talk about it in class, okay? If you have questions or issues, I'll be available tomorrow, Wednesday, during office hours. I'll put the links in the Google Classroom, and you can come ask questions at that time, okay? We'll see you later.